He was a storyteller, first and last, a teller of tales, and some were true, what you might call scientific, and some were what you might call poetry. And as to which was which, who knows? Let us say the poems were true, and the science was poetry. And, like many tellers of tales, he was looking for something lost. And because of that, we were brothers. And because of that, we were enemies.
The President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Paul Kruger.
Irresponsible elements are making accusations of government corruption and dishonest business interests. This railway is vital to the national interest of South Africa. Yes, there were gifts made, but so what? But these accusations, these lies fabricated by certain muckraking journalists are mendacious and false.
Marais and the Soul of the Termite by Mike Walker.
They've done it. The bastards.
Eugene, don't.
Come on, Letty, they are bastards.
I warned you not to get angry. It'll only upset you again.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. The crusading editor, the headlines, the cause, the high blood pressure, which generally ends up with you taking morphine again. It clouds your head.
That's never been a problem. Helps me see further. Well, it did before you showed me something better.
It still concerns me.
Besides, it's not me, Letty, it's them. And it's the job. If they stayed honest, then...
You'd be out of work. And then where will we be with the baby on the way?
You know me, I have to do it.
It's your nature. As the scorpion said to the frog,
I see it and I have to write it. I started out reading this newspaper because he was honest and...
Shortly after stinging him so they both drowned. Babies do need to eat, you know.
Look, this newspaper...
Sit down. Undo your tie.
Yes, I do hate ties.
What is it, Eugene? There's something really wrong this time? Tell me.
Oh, you'd better answer it, Letty. I'm so sorry.
What is it?
It's probably the police.
What did I say? The headlines, the cause, which generally ends up with you in trouble again.
I found something wrong. Very wrong. So what was I supposed to do?
All right.
Eugene Marais.
You know who I am. Why are you here?
You are to come with me, Mynheer Marais.
You have no right. What has he done?
You man must accompany me.
Of what am I accused?
High treason against the Republic of South Africa.
I won't get up if you don't mind, Pete.
Please yourself, Eugene. But you generally do, don't you? May I sit?
I don't call the shots here. Please yourself.
God, man, you're an awkward bastard, aren't you? Never give a bloody inch. Never did, even as a kid. Well, this time, my friend, you've gone too far.
You mean the truth is too far for South Africa?
Kruger's a national monument. A hero. A bloody mountain. And you can't kick down a mountain, you'll simply get buried.
The man believes literally in the Bible. He thinks the earth is flat, Pete.
If Paul Kruger thinks the earth is flat, then the earth is flat.
And if Paul Kruger thinks that corruption on a biblical scale is fine and dandy, then so it is.
The lamp of enlightenment shines, and behold, Marais sees.
Sees that President Kruger sanctions R500,000 of public money hived off to a rail company who have bribed members of the legislature time and time again to gain favours.
Yes, we know. A useless railway, inflated costs, the public purse, massive corruption, and on and on. What you are not seeing, man, is the big picture. The bloody British Empire. That bastard Rhodes, Austin Chamberlain. You're doing their work for them, Eugene. Paul Kruger is the mountain that stands in their way. They want this land.
And that excuses Kruger's acceptance of corruption? Tell me, Brew, is a corrupt state even worth saving?
Man, you think the British got their damned empire with angels and party favours? You're an Afrikaans poet, not just a journalist. You love this country. And God knows enough folk love your poems. So serve your country and help Kruger save it. Retract. Write an editorial supporting the government wholeheartedly.
Truth matters to poets too, Pete. Let me tell you a story about the Bantu princess Mabelel. She was everybody's favourite. They all loved her too.
Enough with your stories.
Indulge me, Pete. A village as night falls.
I'm bored with pounding the grain.
Then her grandmother says, "But it's what we do, Mabelel. As we have done forever and shall do forever."
Even so, I'm going to the river to fetch water.
The old lady tries to stop her. "It's late," she warns. "The animals will be drinking. It's too dangerous, princess."
Silly grandmother. The animals all love me. See? Even the mosquito. They land on me and fly away without stinging. Give me the pot and I'll fill it with sweet water.
And she walked to the river, and true enough, the animals made room for her. And she stood amongst them and filled her jar with sweet water. And then she sat and the animals left. The water settled until it lay like a mirror at her feet. And she looked and saw, in the light of the great moon, her beautiful face. And she smiled at herself. And then, beyond the mirror, she saw a smile that was...
A bigger smile. But who has a bigger, more beautiful smile than I do? Who are you, my friend?
Me? I'm Lelele the crocodile. I come here every night at about this time to enjoy a bit of company. And who are you, Malifa Mese?
I'm Mabelel, and I'm a princess, and everybody loves me. But now I look at you close, Lalele. It doesn't seem to me that your big smile is quite as friendly as I thought at first.
Princess, how could you? There is nothing in this whole wide world that I love more than a plump, pleasing young woman. In a very little moment, you and I will be closer than sisters.
And with that, Lalele rose up out of the river and ate her with very great love. If I don't do what my loving country wants,
Then you'll be charged and tried.
there's no evidence, and the government know it. But even in this country, you can't get away with imprisoning the editor of a national newspaper, Pete.
Oh, you'll get off, of course. The case is clear enough. But due to the nature of the charges, you'll be held in custody until the trial. You won't be able to write. The railway deal will go through, the elections held, everything will be settled, and you will have gained nothing. Think, man. Your Letitia is pregnant. You want to be there for her when your child is born, don't you? Then retract. Nobody will think the worse of you.
I will.
If not for your country, then for Letty.
Don't use her name, Pete. You don't have the rights anymore.
I don't know why I even try.
Because we're old friends.
Then there's nothing else to say. Old friend.
What if you talk about the big picture, but what if there's a bigger picture still? One so big that we can't see its frame. So vast we don't even know it's there.
Then what the hell use is it?
Are you sure you're all right?
Of course I'm all right. Stop fussing, man. I'm not the one in prison.
But you are the one that's pregnant.
As have been uncounted numbers of women over the ages, and it'll probably go on being the case in the future. No one is going to send me to jail for 15 years.
No one is going to send me to jail for 15 years either. My lawyers assure me of that. So does Pete when he cares to visit.
You still speak then?
We're old friends, even if he is wrong. And we both believe in this country, in our separate manner. Shall we sit here? There's shade. They simply want to keep me out of the way until the scandal dies. By the time the case comes to court, it'll be the future and everything will be different.
You'll be a father. Eugene.
You're the best thing that ever happened to me, Letty. I was lost before I met you. I was just I, that's all. And then I found you and I became we.
We became we, Eugene.
There is a point to things beyond what I want. I'm a better person because of us. Before, I might not have stuck with this story, with the truth of it. And yet, the truth of it hurts me more than I can express because it takes me away from you.
You silly man, don't you think I know that? It hurts me too, you shut away in this camp. I want you home, I want you with me. But I don't, because it wouldn't be us. It would be me. It wouldn't be us together.
I could give it up. Do what they want. Write the damned article. I could do that for the three of us.
Could you? Really?
If I could.
Then you wouldn't be the man I married.
You are, as always, Letitia, absolutely correct.
And you are impossible, Marais.
Well, a bit improbable, perhaps. But you're right. If I gave in and wrote what they wanted, then what point would there be to anything?
And yet most people get by like that in this world. It's called compromise. Me, I have to find the one man who won't or can't compromise and fall in love with him. Will they let you back?
They'll ban me from parliamentary reporting. I'll have to stick to nature notes or write stories. They can't imprison you for that yet.
We'll be all right, Eugene. We'll make it work. Now give me a kiss.
The guards.
Can mind their own business.
I love you, Letty Marais.
Eugene, come now. Leave your writing.
Why? What is it?
Letty, the baby. Something happened. I don't know. Hurry, man.
The child.
I don't know. We got a telegram, that's all. Something's wrong. You should have been there. Damn it, man. Why weren't you there?
Where are you? Where are you?
I have you, my love.
Where are you? I can't see you. Where are you? I'm lost. I can't find you.
Oh, Letty.
Help me, Eugene. It hurts so much.
She needs rest. You should...
Why can't she see?
She's very sick, Mynheer. You must understand, she doesn't know where she is.
Eugene, help me.
Please, in the name of God, do something.
There's nothing. The doctor is...
Find me. Save me.
How is she? Eugene, is she... Oh, God.
Listen, Pete. Can you hear that? It's a nightjar. It's happy the rain has stopped. It'll feed well tonight. Aristotle wrote about it, you know. He called it the goat milker. It still has that name for many people. The doctor, Pete, I smelled alcohol on his breath. He was drunk. In Europe, during the Black Death, they called it Lichtfaul, the corpse bird, and believed it came at night to take the souls of mothers and unbaptized children who died. The Vikings called it Night Raven, and said it perched on Odin's left shoulder during the wild ride, when he collected the souls of dead heroes. They said anyone who saw it would also be carried off to the underworld. Pete, she didn't need to die. She was taken. I should have been there. Damn it.
Eugene, stop this. It can't help.
I have to find her, Pete. Don't you see? Don't you see?
In this year, the Committee for the Nobel Prize for Literature has awarded its accolade to a writer who has always forged his own path in a totally distinctive fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, our Nobel laureate, Maurice Maeterlinck.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the committee, that this great honor should come to me is as unexpected as it is delightful. I thank you from the bottom.
Are you all right?
I'm smoking a cigar, my dear.
Oh, that I can smell, my dear. I don't know why you choose to attack nature in this way.
I'm sure nature can allow me one cigar.
I simply wondered, after all the fuss, the prize, do you need to?
A businessman in Brussels wrote asking me to sponsor their cigars. They said they'd put my picture on the packet, and I would write some nonsense about how superior they were. Oh, and they'd pay me. It seems I'm a tradesman now, for hire like any house painter or carpenter.
The Nobel is something, Maurice, not nothing.
It scares me, Renee. That's the truth.
At least we'll never be poor again. This should push your fees up.
It's crazy. I never thought... Well, obviously no one starts writing for the money. You do it because... well, you heard the speech.
But it was a good speech.
It was short.
So, what scares you?
Listen.
It's a nightingale.
It's singing.
It's what they do.
Exactly. It's what they do, naturally. They open their beaks and sing.
Ah, you're worried that after this you won't sing anymore.
Some authors can apply seat of pants to chair and write, as Mark Twain said, and produce what needs to be produced. But I fear that. Producing what needs to be produced has never been easy for me.
Well, does the bird think about singing or just sing? So sing.
This is dreary stuff. We should be celebrating. Come on, it's early. We'll go into Nice, find somewhere to eat where no one knows who I am. Be like we were when we weren't who we are.
Oh, that is a typical Maeterlinck line. No one knows if it means anything at all. Maurice! Maurice!
In the library.
What is it? Can't you sleep?
Listen.
What?
Listen. You hear that?
What am I listening for?
The tapping.
Insects?
Termites.
Oh, Lord. Oh, we should get somebody in. It could be a problem. Are you looking for a workman?
No.
Well, what?
An article I was reading the other day. The tapping reminded me. I wanted to...
To what?
Here. And so I found myself without a newspaper or a profession, bereft of my love, lost on the veldt with a mule loaded with a kettle, spades and other tools, crossing the Waterberg. Alone in that great emptiness, and then, far in the distance,
Wavering in the heat haze of a burning afternoon, a figure, tall, it seemed to me impossibly tall, regarding me with a cool, detached interest as I laboured my way toward him.
What do I see here?
How can I answer that? I don't have your eyes, grandfather.
I see a man with a mule.
You see clear enough then?
Are you a hunter? We've not had guns around here for a while now.
And how's that for you, grandfather?
Peaceful. You whites have been killing each other for once, which makes a change. Mostly, it seems to me there's nothing that flies above, or walks, or crawls beneath this land that is safe from you.
It's the English and their bloody wars.
Yours too, but not mine. I like the peace and quiet. I'm happy to let all of you go away and fight your wars.
You're not telling me your people never fought, never raised a spear or an awisa.
Ah, I would say ours were human wars, without benefit of steel and high explosive. My name is Walter.
Really?
It'll do for now, Brew. So, tell me, what do you want with us here?
Sun is high, hot. Shall we find some shade and brew tea if we're going to talk? And it seems to me you're not going to let me go, grandfather, unless we talk.
I have nothing better to do today. Who do I drink with?
Maeterlinck. My name is Maeterlinck. It'll be brewed soon.
I'm in no hurry. And I'd say neither are you.
You don't think so?
From the look of you, Marais?
As I said before, grandfather, I don't have your eyes.
So, what do you see?
A dry, white land.
And what are you doing in this land?
I'm looking for something.
Ah. And what Mganiwami do you seek?
I think it's ready. I don't know.
There are worse places to be lost than under the shade of a baobab tree.
I told a story about that tree once upon a time.
There are many stories about Isiklachla baobab. I heard it was here before the first people came to this land.
If it was here before you, grandfather, it must be very old indeed.
Ha, 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 ha. What was your story?
It was called the Tree of Life, and it concerned a traveller astray who was dying for want of food and water, and lay beneath the tree that could have saved him if only he hadn't been cursing God for putting him in this terrible place. If he had looked more and seen better rather than shouting so loud. Do you see?
I do. And so you are looking, but you don't know what for?
Something happened. I lost the best of myself. I bellowed like a water buffalo trapped in a swamp with no friend to help him. It got to be so loud that I couldn't hear anything. So now I try to talk less and keep my eyes open more, and perhaps I will know it when I see it.
Umukhla.
What?
Termites. Gathering leaves for food.
They go down a hole like water flowing away. Is there a nest here?
They have their roads, their ways above the ground, but mostly under. They don't care to be in the sun. Too many hungry mouths and beaks about, eh? So they build their paths underneath, and they follow them home, to their mound, behind their walls where they are safe.
And where is it, this mound?
There, in the glare of the sun, man. Over there, Marais. That's what you're looking for. It's there. Come. Look. See.
It tops you by 3.
And you by 5.
I've seen them before. Everyone has, but I've never seen them. Not like this.
Touch the walls.
I can feel it through my palm.
Like Isiklachla Sebeobab. It's all on the inside.
Life. Vast seas of life. Great waves breaking. Whole worlds within.
This thing that you are looking for, Brew, I think maybe it just found you.
In my loss, I had returned to morphine, and I believe it allowed me to see beyond the surface of things. And in that moment, I understood the old man was right. This thing, this wonder, had found me.
I would discover what I had lost. It was going to be a great trek indeed. This man is a symbolist. At least he writes like one.
May I? Oh, is it Dutch?
Afrikaans. The man is a Boer and writes only in his own language. He nurses a certain resentment against the British after the wars. Also, he is a poet, so he knows the value of passion.
But does it tell us what to do about our termites before they eat us out of hearth and home, Maurice?
Now, it seems his beasts don't live in wood and foundations. They create castles and cloud-capped towers in the veldt. I must read more, René. He has something, this fellow. Something I think I lost a while ago. How to convey what I wished to say, what I found. In words bound by the weight of earth, or as light as stars. In truths that lie, or lies that tell the truth. Well, I am a storyteller, so here is my story.
Listen, I am standing before the tower, peering up. It soars over me impossibly high. It must have taken decades of remorseless effort to create. From the point of view of a termite, higher than the highest structure man has yet built on Earth.
It could rain for a month or a year, and this would stay solid. And what is it but mud and water? A million specks, so small your eyes could barely see them. Each carried by workers and pasted with their spit into these walls.
And as the morphine enters the bloodstream and travels to the brain, so we enter this world.
Come. That's what you want, isn't it? Come closer. Closer. You see, the walls are not solid at all. There are pathways in and out.
Around me, workers scurry past ceaselessly. I see, but they don't.
True.
They build all this and they're blind?
Ah, Mgani Wami, you need to learn a new alphabet. To say they are blind is to say they are without sight. They lack sight, but sight is meaningless here. It is like saying you, my short-assed Afrikaans friend, lack wings. No, you simply don't need them. And there it is. The workers don't need them to do their job. Those that do, the sisters and brothers who fly, they have eyes and can see. Just as the ones who fight have armor and can sting. Come, Woza Shisa. We don't want to meet the warriors yet.
All around us the air is fresh. The currents are constantly moving.
You see, this whole mound is a chimney to funnel the heat up. Let the winds of the veldt play around it, suck the old air out and feed in the new. a dance that goes on forever. It feeds off nothing except itself.
Perpetual motion. It abides.
It truly does.
But if this is the chimney, where is
the city? With its teeming millions, its farmers and workers and soldiers, its king and queen, its heart?
Or its soul?
Is that what you're looking for, my friend? Always grasping for what is just out of reach. The white man. Jealous of secrets, never satisfied. You, Mganiwani, what do you really want?
To see what drives it all, grandfather. What gives it purpose, reason, and yes, if that is its soul.
Perhaps we should start with the gardens.
Around the center of the nest, radiating far under the veldt, are vast terraces of walled gardens where fungus grows. Termites eat grass, excrete it and build elaborate mazes for human thousands of miles of twists and turns, a super labyrinth in which they never lose their way. And in each of these walled gardens grows a fungus that mutates the grass and the leaves into a rich food for the colony. And in the labyrinth, the walls each have a note, their own music.
There are those who will tell you that fungus and termite are equal partners in their world. Each will perish without the other. Each with the other will thrive. Indeed, you could ask, is this a termite mound for fungus or a fungus mound for termites?
There's no free will or choice involved here.
So what drives this activity, this complexity? I kept looking for the secret. The old Zulu talked about a new light that would enable me to see a new world. A world in which Letty still walked, perhaps, the grass wet under the soles of her feet, her fingers brushing the leaves.
Tea?
Oh, yes, why not?
Are you working?
Is that an observation or a hope, Renee?
It's been a while. Of course, there's no need. You have
My achievements.
You have nothing left to prove.
Then I have nothing left. When I was beginning, I had it all to prove. When I had nothing, I had everything, Renee. I owned the world. I suppose most young writers do. Now, the world owns me, and I have nothing. I might as well be dead.
What you've done, people care about that. Other writers, people you respect.
I wish I'd never won the bloody thing. Writers have no business with prizes. They should work, because what are any of us in the end except our work?
Selfish?
You're right. Old and selfish. But, my God, I want to write something good again. I want to find a subject. It's not what I do. It's what I am. And if I don't do it, then what am I? It is dusk.
Rain has been falling, and when it stops, from the walls of the tower spring unnumbered flying termites.
These are no workers. Their task is very different. They're bigger. 10, 20 times the size of the workers. They have never flown before tonight. They will never fly again after tonight, and yet they wait until dusk when the birds, who would take them in their thousands, are asleep in their nests. Even so, many die, but some, 2 out of all those thousands of thousands, will get through. The female, the future queen, leads. She soars on the winds that come after the rains.
She lands. Her wings buzz and then she loses them. All the growth, the flight, and once it's done, they're gone. What does she want here? She walks, stops, waits.
This queen.
Until the one who would be king lands and he loses his wings too. A snap and they blow away. He touches her delicately with his antenna. And she moves fast. There isn't much time. Too many predators here.
She must lead. Find her home, her palace to be. It doesn't exist yet. It and everything within it lies dormant within her. She is all time and space, and from her will grow worlds.
Of course, I understood as I looked on that behaviour is psychology. It's not what the queen and her consort do, it's what they are. They dig, they create a room safe under the ground. They mate and she begins to change, to grow, to become immensely herself. The heart of this organism who will, egg by egg, thousands a day, millions over a lifetime, be the means to become what she is, to become the center, the world soul.
No, stop. Something's wrong.
A vast tremor of unease passes through this city in the making. Threat. There is threat.
Have you checked?
Yes.
And double check.
I know my own work, man. He didn't even wait until I'd finished. He's simply taken the articles I've published so far.
And you're sure?
Line for line, word for word.
How would he have known? I mean, with all respect, Eugene.
You knew, Pete. At least enough to send me his bloody book.
I'm a fan. I thought you're up there peering at termites, and here's a Nobel Prize laureate writing a book on termites. I thought you might be interested.
Except I wasn't, and he was.
With all respect, how?
How?
He's a giant of European letters. Debussy wrote an opera from his Pelléas and Mélisande. He's a patriot. He's Maurice Maeterlinck. Everybody who reads or goes to the theatre in Europe knows him. People love him, revere him for the stand he took in the war.
He's Maurice bloody Maeterlinck, a common thief.
How did he know you'd written these, to be honest, damned obscure articles in Afrikaans, in, to be even more honest, a bloody damned obscure Afrikaans language journal halfway around the world?
Well, that's probably the why of it.
So, why?
I'm a nobody and he could.
And the how?
He's a Belgian. He speaks Dutch and most of our scientific journals are sold over there for those who can read Afrikaans as easily as you and I can read Dutch.
And you're certain he can?
No, how could I be?
Which makes it difficult.
There speaks the lawyer.
It's what I am, when I'm not being a politician.
But? Geminism.
Well?
A scientific term. Latin, obviously. But it's used in the literature to denote close similarity. Virtually twins, but not actually so.
And?
It isn't used in literature. I coined it. Made it up, if you like. You won't find it anywhere except in my work, and now in Maeterlinck's work. There are half a dozen others. Connopticity is another. I could go on. I've been creating a science, Pete. Looking at nature with the eye of a scientist and the soul of a poet. Mapping an undiscovered country.
So what now?
Will you act for me? The journal will support our cause. This is no different to him stealing my poetry or my reputation, such as it is.
The cost. Not the money, but But there is that too. Are you prepared to take on a genius?
Something amusing you.
I'm asking the man who took on South Africa's hero, Paul Kruger. I should know better.
Not that it did me any good.
And neither will this, I fear. People simply won't believe it.
We'll show them. Page by page, line by line.
I'll do what I can, Eugene. You know that. I should have done more before. This time we'll do better. Go back to your termites. I'll be in touch.
Careful. Careful.
I know what I'm doing, Brew. A little deeper, and we'll be knocking on her doors.
Doors she can no longer pass. She's her own prisoner. Here, let me.
The soldiers nipping you. Mind they don't sweat their acid, eh?
A useful thing. Sting.
Almost there.
Behold. There she is. The center. The brain. Or simply an engine to produce eggs by the million. Does she drive the colony?
Who knows? Perhaps you will find out, Mganiwa.
It's too easy to put words into places where they simply don't belong.
Like cars on the veldt.
I fear this one brings no good news, Walter. They'll have mended the walls by the time I get back. She'll be safe in her chamber.
Or her prison.
Eugene, I like this place. It's empty.
What do you have to tell me that brings you all this way? Why not a letter, I ask?
And you can tell yourself that it's because I owe you this at least, to tell you face to face. There's no reasonable chance of mounting an international case against Maeterlinck or his publishers. Time, distance, money, the fact that this is Africa and Europe's been kicking our asses since forever.
Civilization. They're so good at it.
The best we might get, and there's no certainty of that, is an acknowledgement in the next edition, if there is one.
Why did he do it? Is there any
We've had no contact with the man himself. He acts as if you don't exist.
Well, we'll have to see about that, won't we?
What is it?
I think there's someone in the house.
Oh, you're not going down. For God's sake, call the police from your study.
No, I don't think it's a burglar.
Then who in heaven?
I don't think burglars play the piano.
Stay where you are. We don't know.
I have a feeling. It will be all right, Renee. Trust me.
Are you crazy, old man? No, I'm coming too.
Shuan, the prophet bird. I take it that you are not here to steal or to murder me.
The prophet bird is often identified with the cuckoo. In ancient times, it was held to be sacred. The Greeks thought it was Hera's bird, the mother of the gods, Zeus's wife. There are 8 species of South African cuckoo. Many others can be found all over the world. Most of them rear their own young, contrary to myth or legend, but some are Diedrich cuckoo, for instance, are brood parasites. Good word, don't you think, Maurice Maeterlinck?
So here you are, Monsieur Marais. I wondered sometimes if you would come, and sometimes when you would come. But I never doubted that you would come.
And here I am. You're a hard man to see. My letters, requests, were not even answered. Why is that? I wrote 12 times and no word from you. Good evening, madam. I apologize for disturbing your sleep. I hope I've not caused you too much anxiety. I would also be gratified if you were to put down that revolver, or at the very least uncock it. It looks quite dangerous.
I know how to use it. Who are you? What do you want? You entered my house like a burglar.
This is Monsieur Marais, René. He wrote the pieces on termites I so admired. He has come, I assume, from South Africa, to talk about...
Termites?
I assure you I mean you no harm.
South Africa is a long way away, monsieur.
Yes, I had friends in London. I spent some months there when I was younger, after my wife died. But yes, it was a tiresome journey. That is why so much time has passed.
And you couldn't have waited until morning?
Monsieur Marais is a naturalist. The darkness is often considered a better time for observation. We shall be fine. Thank you, René.
Very well. Then I shall leave you with your guest. Good night, monsieur.
A nightjar. Do you know it?
It'll have flown here from South Africa for your summer. All that distance for just a couple of months. Some call it the night raven. It carries off the unready and the unbaptized.
It has cost both of you a lot to be here.
You were aware of feelings in South Africa?
I heard there was some concern over certain matters that, well...
There is a certain irony in the situation. Your wife comes downstairs thinking to find a thief in the night. Does she know she has a thief in the house? Can she read Afrikaans? Did you tell her, perhaps, let something drop, some tiny, termite-sized... Oh, you're smiling, meneer.
She was concerned about termites here, in our home. It's mostly wood, you see. We could hear them knocking in the night. We called in a tradesman to get rid of them.
And then they came back without even knocking. It could be the kind of thing you write about when you were a young man.
When I was good, you mean?
When you were not a thief, I mean.
Oh, I was always a thief, as were you. All writers are.
Now you're playing with words.
As all writers do. We're like the termite queen, endlessly producing millions upon millions of words, immuring ourselves in a burrow of fame and reputation that in the end traps us. We become so engorged we can no longer even move. Never mind free ourselves.
Is that what happened? You became too famous. The Nobel laureate, his country's greatest writer, and then you began to fear you would stop producing eggs. You know, they say the Queen is, well, she's not beautiful to look upon. In fact, most folk find the sight repulsive. A great egg sack, too big to move anymore, fed and attended by courtiers who lick her clean, feeding off her. The skin so swollen and stretched you can see through it. Observe the fluids boiling in the act of perpetual creation. I'll tell you this, because I know you have not seen it, Maurice Maeterlinck, and that to me is your crime. Steal all you want, but at least break into the chamber and search out what is valuable. And take a risk, man. Isn't that where truth lies? Or where the lies begin? You have never risked. Never seen. Like the termite workers, you are blind.
But here I am, Marais, and for all that what you say is true, here I will stay.
You risk nothing. That is unforgivable.
Oh, every writer needs something unforgivable. Some darkness in his or her soul, some shame, some crime, some wound.
You are sounding like a symbolist.
Why are you here? What do you want? Reparation? Revenge? Heartfelt apologies? My public humiliation? It won't happen, you know.
I began writing as a reporter, Mynheer. I like to see the story in front of my eyes, experience it, know that it's true. And then, if I have to, I can defend it. At any cost.
Do you mind if I open the windows? It's a fine night. Why did I do it? I had to, in order to survive. I make no apologies for my theft. The universe cares no more for the justice of it than it cares for any one of 100 million termites. I am a writer. I will do what I must to survive. And what were you searching for? Some final truth in that mound? Do you think termites hold the answer?
I think termites are termites. Simply that. As for my search...
Your search?
I am looking for someone I lost. You interrupted me. Like predatory ants attacking a mound, or birds, or anteaters, or any one of 1,000 raptors, but do you see, because of the Queen, the termites abide, as they have for millions of years, and will do so long after our stain has vanished from this planet. I wanted to see you, to see that the great lion that scared the villagers nothing at all in reality. Simply a frightened old beast who fears he has lost whatever magic he once possessed. Good night, Maurice Maeterlinck.
It won't make any difference, you know, whatever you say. No one will listen. You'll see, nothing comes of nothing. Go home, Monsieur Marais. Marais? Marais!
Oh, what's wrong, Maurice?
He's gone.
So, you're back, Ngamiwami.
And you're still here?
Where else would I be?
I don't know.
You're the storyteller. You tell me.
I'm glad to see you anyhow, bro. Our mound.
Did you find what you wanted over there?
Shall we go on?
From here, you go alone, Ngamiwami. You don't need me anymore. This is a different story now. I am here to say goodbye.
Wait, I still need you.
Dengone.
What?
My name. It means...
The searcher. Of course.
Go. Go. Find her. Hambagachle, my friend.
The final story, the one Maeterlinck never saw and couldn't steal. The soul of the white ant.
In her chamber, the beating heart of a vast body.
Letty.
Of course. At the heart. Where else would I be?
Are you real?
It's not so easy, Eugene, as all that. Here. Look at her.
Served by her workers. Protected by her soldiers.
These soldiers are not here to defend her. They have another purpose. There are not enough of them to fight. Any enemy will be stopped in the outer roads.
Surrounding her, a ring of warriors, spaced equally, in a perfect circle, on a plane of 45 degrees, always preserved, their heads turned toward magnetic north. At regular intervals, one moves its antenna, the gesture passes around the circle. New warriors appear. Replace them. They leave and a new circle is born. They are dancing the world.
Do you remember asking if there's a bigger picture than the big picture? One so vast we can't see it. Because it's our world, and we live on it together.
And in the end, nothing dies. Everything changes and becomes.
In Marais and the Soul of the Termite by Mike Walker, Eugene Marais was played by Shaun Evans, Maurice Maeterlinck by Philip Franks, Bessie Ashley was Mabalel, Lucy Doyle was Dahon and the nurse, Alexandra Gelf was Letty, Peter Noble was Pete and Kruger, Jude Owusu played Walter and Lalale, and Tom Alexander was the speaker. The pianist was Paddy MacDonald, and the original music was composed by Chris O'Shaughnessy. Marais and the Soul of the Termite was directed by David Morley. It was a perfectly normal production for BBC Radio 4.